Hello, I'm Peter Frosch, President and CEO of the ConnextMSP Partnership. Thank you for participating in the launch of ConnextMSP, an inclusive talent network for the entire Minneapolis-St. Paul region. The big idea behind ConnextMSP is that we can advance racial equity and power economic growth in our region by ensuring that young adults of color get their careers off to a good start. The business community has the power to drive this change. We can do this when we come together, and we can do it right now. We're excited to show you more and invite you to become a part of this effort to shape the future of Minneapolis-St. Paul. We have a short video that explains more about the importance of ConnextMSP for our region.
I think there are many challenges to students that graduate college and transition into the real world career. When I was going through college here, no one of my career services looked like me. They were all white, female, or men. I saw these statistics of MSP region being the greatest region, but I never really realized that it was only for white people, not for BIPOC community.
In our region, there's thousands of young professionals of color who have the potential to be amazing employees and leaders if given the chance. But there are systemic barriers to landing those career pathway jobs and to helping them advance through the ranks.
It felt like really unattainable to even be super successful because people like me are not really well represented in a lot of fields.
Well, the challenge is clear. Even though we know what it takes to launch a career, our region isn't succeeding in ensuring that young adults of color in our region get access to the same opportunities as their white peers. We know that because young graduates of color are less likely to find full-time jobs 2 years after completing college, and they find themselves too often in part-time or seasonal work. And those missed opportunities and lost earnings early on add up over time. Employees of color in our region earn a third less than white workers on average, and that disparity can be traced back to their very earliest career steps. According to Forbes, 80% of jobs are secured through personal connections. 80%. We know people of color have far fewer of those connections than their white peers. That's why closing the network gap is one of ConnextMSP's core strategies.
We asked questions on how we could find a scalable solution to transform our region's ability to recruit, hire, and support young professionals of color. And we realized that rather than working in a vacuum, it's much more powerful when we are aligned and working with college and career readiness programs, with university partners and community organizations, and with employers. All with a strategy that is informed by the insights and perspectives from the many talented young adults in our network. That is the big idea behind ConnextMSP. Together, we can create a more inclusive workplace and launch meaningful careers for thousands more professionals of color.
There are two big problems in our community that are bigger than anything else. One is the incredible inequity in this community, and the other is the worker shortage. Connext addresses both of those problems and turns it into a great opportunity.
We want to reflect our communities. We increasingly realize that our communities are getting more diverse, and I'm committed to having diversity in my company as a result. Many of us are making investments in. Now let's invest in them further in their careers, getting jobs right here in Minnesota, which guess what? We need the workforce.
I would urge corporations to think about what can they be doing to cultivate experiences for younger talent. If we can find a way to cultivate diverse talent, create organizations that have fertile and inclusive environments, this region can be lifted to a point where we can achieve greater things than we have in the past and solve some of the challenges that I think are ahead of us in the future.
We have so many Fortune 500 companies here, and be honest about what skills do you need to develop in college so you can get one of these jobs. I think it's really important for employers to really sit down and create environments where we are increasing diversity, real diversity at all levels of their company.
I'm really excited about the opportunity to better serve our community, get everybody involved in employment. That's inclusion, that's diversity, and that's a good business decision, and in addition to being the right thing to do.
Many of us know what it takes to launch a career, yet we haven't managed to ensure young adults of color in our region get access to the same opportunities as their white peers, and it's time to change this. We've been working for more than 5 years to understand this problem and the barriers to solving it. The Itasca Project, Minneapolis Foundation, Cargill, Excel Energy, College and Career Readiness Partners, they and many others did the hard work to build a solution to one of the most important challenges facing our region. And after several years of behind-the-scenes work, we are ready to bring Connext to the forefront and make our region a national leader in launching careers for young adults of color. Together, we are creating a pipeline filled with diverse young talent for employers who are part of this network. Together, we will remove barriers to opportunity, build professional connections that young adults need, and launch thousands of young adults of color into amazing careers in our region. Investing in our rising generation is the best idea we have for safeguarding the prosperity of our entire region in the 21st century. And it's an idea whose time has come. So this is a call to action. Join the network and get access to the best talent of our rising generation. Join the network and be part of advancing racial equity in our region by reimagining the early career system in Minneapolis-St. Paul. And join us today. For more information on why you should join and support ConnextMSP, it is my pleasure to introduce Aisha McKinsey-Collins. She's an amazing leader and the new managing director for ConnextMSP.
Thank you, Peter, and thanks to all of you who have joined us today. I'm honored to be leading this effort alongside you all. This work is the product of many minds and hearts. There are many partners and community members and colleagues to acknowledge for getting ConnextMSP to this point. We couldn't have done this without the support of our coalition. 40+ people and organizations contributed to the vision and creation of ConnextMSP. I especially want to highlight the college and career readiness partners who have worked tirelessly to support students on their path. Our ambition for ConnextMSP is to close the network gap. Where you grow up, where you go to school, and where you work can give you up to 12 times the advantage in gaining access to opportunity. All of this boils down to connections. Connections allow you to find internships, get a second look at your resume, land interviews, and ultimately secure the job. That's what we want for the thousands of young adults in our region as they pursue their careers. Building those connections in our business community can be a game changer, not just for themselves, but for their families and their communities. Over the past year, we've had dozens of conversations with young adults to identify some of the barriers they face on their career paths. They told us that they were concerned that their lack of networks and relationships might put them at a disadvantage, concerned about the lack of representation in their fields and the lack of cultural understanding from employers, and concerned that they won't be able to pursue relevant opportunities because they don't pay a livable wage. We know that their concerns are real, and we know it should not be on the shoulders of young adults to solve those alone. In fact, they cannot solve this alone. Together, as employers and leaders in our community, many who are listening in at this very moment, we can be champions for change and create more equitable and inclusive workplaces in our region. Today, we can all take a step towards closing the network gap. After you hear from a few additional leaders, join us for our 15-minute speed networking session at the end of the program. But first, I want to introduce Brandon No, a member of our ConnextMSP Leadership Council. Brandon is an alumnus of partner program Genesis Works. He recently started a new role as a development operations engineer at Medica. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Medica is actually one of our active employer partners in the ConnextMSP Coalition.
Thank you, Aisha. I'm excited to be here for the launch of ConnextMSP. I think connecting young people of color to careers in our region is one of the most important things we can do to change our system.
Thank you for being here, Brandon. This summer, you and your fellow Leadership Council members advanced 3 strategic pillars we're implementing as we launch Connext. The first is focused on building resume experiences. We know that increasing access to high-quality resume experiences while in college can lead to better career options after graduating. To help unpack why this is so important for students in our community, I'd like to introduce Dr. Narita Hughes, Dean of the School of Business, Careers, Education, and Workforce Innovation for North Hennepin Community College. Dr. Hughes serves as a member of the ConnextMSP Coalition. Dr. Hughes, you work with hundreds of students each semester. What difference have you seen in students who've been able to secure high-quality internships or short-term projects with companies? And tell me how that's translated into success for them.
Sure. Thank you, Aisha. Well, first and foremost, thank you all for, doing this segment. I think it's phenomenal. I also believe that, the information that's going to be shared is going to, be able to help someone to understand what education is doing, higher education in particular. We've heard employers say that they cannot find anybody that has what they quote unquote say soft skills. I call them power skills. And so what the internships have been able to do is they've been able to help people secure some of those and obtain, I would say, some of those skills as a student, but then also gaining that experiential learning.
As you prepare students for the workforce of the future, what can local employers do to better support them as they launch careers?
We've tried to get employers to come onto our campus to even, serve on a panel, share what some of their challenges are, share what some of their concerns are, but then also what are some of their successes. So being able to come into a college campus, see what the students are learning, and then identify that and say, now we can correlate this together and align those practices so that you're setting up somebody for the next 21st century skill set.
Dr. Hughes, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us and for your commitment to ConnextMSP.
Thank you. You all have a great day.
Our second strategic pillar for ConnextMSP is focused on improving career pathways. This means working together to create new entry points into career-level roles. One important way we will do this is through professional apprenticeships. We've partnered with Accenture and Aon to bring together some of our region's top companies to create the first ever employer-led apprentice network in the area. We are excited to announce the trailblazer companies leading this effort. They are committed to launching apprenticeship programs for their companies in 2022. To speak more about why apprenticeships are a business imperative to bringing in more diverse talent and closing worker shortages in our region, we welcome Mark Irvin, Chief Inclusion, Diversity, and Talent Officer at Best Buy, a dynamic leader with a commitment to equity. Hi, Mark. You were an early champion for the Apprentice Network model. Tell me why you're excited about bringing professional apprenticeships to Best Buy, and how do you envision these roles coming to life at your company?
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple of things. One, I'm incredibly excited because I believe, number one, it is the right thing to do, but I also think it's a business imperative that we have to do this. If I think about every segment of society, we need the best and the brightest at the table, and we also need people that reflect our communities. And I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt, most of us know this. We haven't always done a good job of reflecting our communities, and we haven't always done a good job of having diverse perspectives at the table. And when you don't have diverse perspectives, what it means is that the conversations don't go deep enough. We don't gain the perspectives that we have to have. What I'm most excited about this program is that number one, it does a couple of things. It gives people that don't always have it visibility to career opportunities. And I think secondarily, it also provides a pathway of access, which again, I don't think we've been very good at this one as well either. Now, in my own personal background, I deeply remember a moment that brought great sadness to me. As a youngster, people would ask me the question, Mark, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your career aspirations? And honestly, I couldn't answer that question. I couldn't answer it because I hadn't seen enough. I didn't know enough. And what I thought is that the things I had seen so far, they weren't really drawing out my passions. The power of a program like this is it allows people to see more and also have different levels of aspirations. In doing that, it creates a pathway for engagement and passions to be unlocked. That's what I think is the incredible power of a program like this in the apprenticeships.
Mark, we appreciate your time and insight today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Brandon, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm super excited, and hopefully we get you in an apprenticeship over at Best Buy. So thank you.
Thank you. As we discuss our third and final strategic pillar, strengthening professional networks, we're connecting with the Chief Human Resources Officer for Polat Companies, Pam Lampert. As a longtime leader in Greater MSP, Pam understands the importance of social capital. Welcome, Pam. What are some ways you've worked to close network gaps at POLAD companies? And how have you connected employees to opportunities to build relationships across the organization?
Well, thank you, Aisha. As we all know, networking is the #1 way to both get a job as well as find talent. So what we've done intentionally here at the POLAD companies is to, first of all, start building new relationships and really build new networks. We're working with nonprofits that are connected with different talent than we've been connected to before. We're looking for the right colleges and their programming that supports not just the industries that we're in, but the kind of talent that we'd like to bring in. We're asking our hiring managers to intentionally build their own new networks outside of their traditional networks. And through all of that, we hope to bring in new and more diverse talent. And in fact, we are starting to see that happen already. Once we have those connections, though, it's important to facilitate and grow the relationships with those individuals. And to that end, we have intern events where we bring all of our interns across all of our businesses together so they get to meet one another. And they also get to meet leaders in our organization from various functions so they can begin making those connections, which they do, and they tend to build relationships following those events.
That's great. And how can the business community think differently about closing the network gap? It's a huge barrier for so many young adults of color in our region.
You know, part of this came about because we have all this talent that's gone through really great programs and they're lost in the ether, right? Because they didn't have a way to reconnect with us, nor did we have a way to reconnect with them. And so ConnextMSP is going to fill that gap. And so it's a new way for us to connect, broaden our networks, but also to reconnect with talent that's been here before, been here in the Twin Cities, and to keep them here in the Twin Cities, which will help us all improve the economic and equity and opportunity within our region.
Thank you, Pam, and many thanks to you, Brandon, and to all of the leaders who joined us today. The 3 strategic pillars of ConnextMSP that you just heard about today are designed to support young adults who are at the center of the ConnextMSP platform. We will be connecting these young adults with employers through our ConnextMSP Talent Network. More on that later. But first, please take a few minutes to listen to one of the talented young professionals from our region as she describes her journey and why she thinks ConnextMSP is so important.
My name is Zoe Bourgeois. I'm 25 years old. I went to South High School, and when I was going into college, I started at Gustavus Adolphus College in St. Peter, Minnesota. After 2 years, I transferred to the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, and I graduated in 2018. I participated in the Urban Scholars Career Readiness Program both my junior and senior year of undergrad. You would learn skills like public speaking, your leadership styles, communication styles, how to work collaboratively, learning and gaining competencies around emotional intelligence. I was aware that there were resources available for career counseling and career services at the school, but I wasn't sure what to expect, and we're trying to get our degree, taking classes that interest us, and then also trying to find work experiences that are meaningful and impactful to not only our development, but for our families and our community. I currently work for a council member on the Minneapolis City Council, and a barrier that I experienced going from undergrad to my first position in my internships would be just having a hard time understanding how my academic and educational work would translate into performing, a full-time role. Right now, and being 3 years out of school, what would be most useful to me would be more opportunities to network with people my age who are just starting out their careers in the region. And I would also say that on-the-job skill building, being incorporated into entry-level roles or transitionary roles would be really beneficial. Through the ConnextMSP initiative, I would like to see employers who are part of this coalition really take into account the many different experiences and challenges that young professionals face, and really take into consideration ways that they can make their workplaces more inclusive and welcoming to students who maybe didn't have, the path figured out, while they're going through college. I hope that employers take away from the experiences of ConnextMSP fellows is more likely than not, they'll meet the task if the opportunity is provided.
Zoe so aptly described why we are meeting here today. Thousands of young adults of color can access career track jobs if given the opportunity. And that's where you come in. Our ability to implement these strategies and transform systems in our region depends on employers taking action and joining us to advance this work. If you are an employer committed to leading one of these areas we discussed today, please reach out to our team. Together, with your commitment, we can move the dial on racial equity and create more inclusive workplaces in our region. We're going to start that work today. In a few minutes, we'll be launching our speed networking event. But first, we have a bit more information about how you can engage with the ConnextMSP Talent Network.
Hi, my name is Rashandra Brown, Network Manager for ConnextMSP. Starting a career is challenging. ConnextMSP is here to make it a little easier. ConnextMSP Talent Network is an inclusive online community dedicated to removing those barriers, building connections, and launching careers. It's not just a place to share job and internship opportunities, it's a growing community where young professionals and employers in the MSP region can build direct and authentic connections that open doors that lead to career advancement. For young professionals, ConnextMSP offers many valuable benefits. You can explore hundreds of job and internship openings and short-term projects from top employers in our region. You'll have access to online and in-person networking opportunities that were designed with young professionals in mind. You'll be a part of a supportive community of other ambitious and talented young professionals where you can build lasting relationships on your path to success. ConnextMSP Talent Network also offers guided pathways and resources to help you track progress towards your career readiness goals. And the best part, you can do it all on the go. The ConnextMSP app is available on mobile to help facilitate connections anytime, anywhere. ConnextMSP is built for employers as well. You can mentor and build authentic relationships with thousands of diverse young professionals right here in the region. Whether you're seeking to hire or be hired, ConnextMSP offers exclusive access. Create a profile and start connecting today.
Thank you for that demonstration, Rashandra. You'll need to join the ConnextMSP Talent Network in order to take part in the series of events we have planned for this fall and winter. And now, an exciting moment is here. Join us for the next 15 minutes for a speed networking session. You'll be placed in a series of 3-minute conversations with someone in our network. Prompts will notify you when it's time to rotate to a different speed networking session. How do you do this? Be you. Introduce yourself. Share where you work or go to school, your passions, and make some authentic connections. Who knows what doors can open in the future by taking a moment to connect today? Let's get into it.